My name is Traci Tilson. I am from York, Pennsylvania, and I am an artist of all forms. I do fiber art, I do acrylic abstract art, alcohol inks, sculptures, just about anything I can get my hands on right now, I do. My mental health journey is pretty open on all of my social media platforms. I tend to be a mental health advocate. I talk to just about anybody about them. I'm very open about it. If I can help one person in their journey know more or get help that they need, it makes me feel better in my journey. I've been, I can't say suffering mental health for 40 some years now. I've just been dealing with it. So, I've been dealing with diagnoses and misdiagnosis since I was 13 years old. I'll be 49, 50 this year actually. So, over 35 years here, I've been dealing with being misdiagnosed and diagnosed and through the gambit. And, if my story can help somebody else suffer a little bit less, that makes me feel better, because then I know my suffering wasn't in vain. When I was 13, I was misdiagnosed as being bipolar because back then they didn't know the things they know today. And I was in and out of hospitals. And I had given up quite a few times. I had quite a few suicide attempts in my life, in and out of the whole drug and alcohol addiction, which is common with people with mental health. And was diagnosed with ADHD and the bipolar diagnosis, the depressive, the major anxiety disorder. And it wasn't until we're now in the age of internet when we can do our own research. I would tell people, don't always believe what the first doctor's going to tell you. When I was 35 and had, relationship after failed relationship, and I had started to research on my own and found a diagnosis, and then found a doctor that dealt with that diagnosis. And I went to them and I said, okay, this is the story of my life. This is what I found. Could I be this? And it was borderline personality disorder, which is not a horrible thing. Could I be this? And she said, you know what? That is you. Let's get you proper treatment. And when I started getting proper treatment, did I feel better about myself and my life and my family, and I was able to find a decent relationship with another person. I had better friendships, better relationships with my family, and I felt better about myself. I met my first art therapist when I was 13 and being misdiagnosed. And she used art as a way for me to better my relationship with my family. And I continued delving into art a little bit now and then. When I was a teenager, my grandmother taught me how to crochet because I was anxious, very anxious. So I do have anxiety disorder, And so she taught me to crochet to keep my hands busy. So I've crocheted since I was a teenager. So I've used that all through my life to keep my mind busy, so that I wasn't always thinking of the depressive thoughts and my mind wasn't always racing. Back in 2012, I was diagnosed with some chronic disorders on top of my borderline and my depressive and my anxiety. And I also, at that point in time, those who know my story, I had started to go legally blind, and I had decided art was going to become a part of my life. If I was going to lose my sight, I was going to lose it knowing I had created art. So I started using art to deal with the depression of what was going on physically and emotionally with me. My sight was able to be restored, so I still create art, but I use art as a way when things are really bad for me and I don't know how to express it to my family. I can go to my space and just create things. And when I'm not feeling beautiful about myself, or in my mind's not feeling beautiful, I can create something beautiful, things that other people find that are beautiful. And if I don't like it, I can erase it and I can start over, something we don't always get in life, I think. These, I had just gotten into alcohol inks. So these are created with alcohol ink and an airbrush. So these are, I have quite a few people clamoring over these right now. So I love doing these because I get to make a lot of noise and annoy my neighbors. But these also, if I'm making noise on the outside, the noise on the inside isn't that loud, so to speak. You know, a lot of us, I don't know how other people feel, but when we're depressed or anxious, the noise in our head clamors and it goes on and on and on. So if I'm creating with the airbrush, or I also have a large air compressor. And so if I can make a lot of noise on the outside, I'm not hearing the constant clamoring in my head that's telling me I'm worthless, or I'm down, or, you know, I'm not worth anything. And I can ignore that for the, you know, an hour that I'm creating. So I really like creating these a lot. And if they don't turn out, I can cut them apart and I make them into greeting cards or things like that. That happens a lot. I also like reusing and cleaning things. So we take old records and we make them into bowls and things. So I get to play around and destroy things that can't be used anymore. So that's one thing. The piece of art behind me, I've been working on for about a year and a half now, and it's a piece that just as I feel the need to add something to it, I will. I don't think I'm done with it. When I feel I'm done with it, I will be. And just the peacock was a piece I had started for a death exhibit. We had to show that death was beautiful. So I did something called Beautifully Broken, and it was the peacock in death. And so that is one of my favorite pieces yet. I have yet to get rid of it. I've been reworking it slowly here as we go on. But then just the crochet pieces are just pieces I do as I'm around the house. I always have crochet in my hand, and so there's always something that I'm working on. We are very similar to normal people. We're normal. It's not. We don't like I tell everybody, we don't suffer from mental health. It's not. We have good days and we have bad days, and when we bail on people, we don't bail on people because we do it on purpose. And if we bail on you, it doesn't mean we don't value your friendship any less. I've had a lot of people in my life think that because I've bailed on them in the past, that I'm just going to bail on them in the future. So they've quit extending offers of friendship, offers of, you know, going out, or let's have dinner, let's hang out. And I've had to remind them that I have good days and bad days. And because I've bailed on you in the past, it was because I was having a bad day. And you never know when I'm going to be having a good day.